Good evening, everyone. Health is the complete harmony of the body, mind, and spirit. If your passion is health, then watch this video until the end. Today, we are going to discuss a popular paramedical course that teaches techniques for restoring mobility in patients. Welcome to ULTV Student Diaries. I'm Shifali Srivastav, Marketing and Communication Manager at University Living. Physiotherapy and physiotherapist, they both are getting really popular these days. Physiotherapists can provide physical relief to those suffering from pain, but they are also able to provide emotional support and self help strategies that empower their clients and patients to improve their health, strength, and quality of life. For a more detailed discussion on this topic, we are joined by Kalaivani from Glasgow Caledonian University, where she's studying MSc in Advanced Physiotherapy Practices. Hi, Kalaivani. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Thank you so much for joining us today, all the way from Glasgow. And
Yeah,
yeah, so how has been your journey so far in UK?
yeah, I'm doing good. I'm pursuing MSc Physiotherapy now, and I'm working as a care assistant. I got a
Okay,
part-time job, so I'm doing good here.
so that's great. So you will not just be able to help them out with the course detail, but also how to land a part-time job over there in
Yeah,
UK.
sure.
Because I think a lot of students are concerned about part-time jobs whenever they're planning their study abroad. And I believe that's the first concern that they have once they land in foreign
Yes.
country. Yeah. So we'll definitely circle back on the part-time jobs. But before we start, your course is really unique and has a niche quality to it. A lot of people are getting inclined towards physiotherapy. So, did you take any English proficiency test for this? And which test did you take? How did you plan it out? And what are the benefits of that test that you find right now?
Yes, I took IELTS as my English proficiency test, and more than that, the students can go with TOEFL, OET, and some universities accept Duolingo also. But my option, which I suggest, was TOEFL and IELTS. So I give the IELTS test, and it has four parts, which is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So I'll just give the update that you can take each and every module to give the best score. And for the registration purpose also, I'll give you the best way, because in here, if the student want to register with HCPC, that is in NHS, they ask for IELTS score with band 7. So I would suggest that students can go for IELTS more than anything else. And TOEFL also gives the best way to registration process and to for the purpose of jobs and in colleges academic purpose. So I would suggest these two options
IELTS
except
is preferable over TOEFL or PT or Duolingo, any other, if I talk about
yes, if the students are in medical course, they can give OET also.
OET. Okay.
Yes.
OET, what's the full form of the test and how can they apply for this?
So OET is a English language test, and it is particularly for the medical field person. So it will be like not a general thing, and in that we can see like medical related terms, and if the person is finding difficult with talking and learning and writing about the general terms, you can give the OET instead of IELTS and TOEFL. So they can find the medical related. Features inside everything about medical terms, and they won't find much difficult like IELTS and TOEFL here.
Right. So OET is exclusively for doctors and nurse, what I understand.
Yes.
Okay, understood. Understood. Great. Now moving forward, you did plan out your study abroad journey in advance, and of course, it's really important to do so. So, how did you plan out your journey? If you share your journey with students, maybe they can get help from that. And did you consider any funding option to pursue the dream?
Yes, I took a student loan, and I would suggest if the students are able to funding themselves, that is their own fund, it is fine, really fine. And most of the students are going for the students loan, and some people may go for personal loan. And yes, I would suggest go for the government banks instead of private banks. I did that because government banks are giving less interest than the private banks. So I'd suggest the students to go with government banks. I think it is around 2% of interest, and in government banks you can get about 7.5 lakhs. If you want more than that, you can go with private banks.
So for government, you'll get 7.5 lakh as a loan amount.
Yes,
Whereas if you have a higher limit that you want, then you will go for a private bank.
yes.
Okay. How was the process for applying for loan? Was it really hectic or, or was it easy?
Yes, there is a two type of loan, which is collateral and non-collateral loan. In non-collateral loan, you can yes, you can gain up to 7.5 lakhs. If you want more than that, you have to give some documents or some property details to them, uh, and they'll check the documents and everything, and they can give the amount you need.
Noted. Noted. Understood. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, moving further into the conversation, we are going to discuss what exactly we started with. So, MSc in Advanced Physiotherapy Practices. What does the course entail? What were the prerequisites to have to pursue this course in UK? And how is this different from Indian context?
Yes, for joining MSc Physiotherapy here, the student must have the score above 60 percentage overall, and they should give English proficiency test, and each and every college set the criteria, that is 6.5 or 6 or 7. It depends upon the college. For Glasgow Caledonian University, you should have at least 6. More than 6.5 is very good. And yeah, the course details is it contains 3 trimester: trimester A, trimester B, and trimester C. In trimester A, you have 2 modules, which is core 1. I choose neuro rehabilitation and advanced research module in trimester A. And for trimester B, advanced professional practice and musculoskeletal will be there. For trimester C, you'll have dissertation, so in which you have to submit your project proposal to them, and based on that the trimester end. Yes, I completed my trimester A now, and I'm having my submission by Jan 9. So for the it depends how up to the last year we can choose the core modules and optional modules by ourselves, but the university gave the update for this current academic year. They choose the modules for the students.
Based on
One
the
of the-
merits and grades that you get in
yes,
semester one.
yes. And for the trimester B alone, you can give the optional modules.
Okay.
So, yes, and it is absolutely different from India. When we choose the MSc Physiotherapy here, you can pursue more than 2 core modules. That is, I can do research, musculoskeletal, and neuro rehab here. But if I pursue in India, I can go with only one module, which is either neuro or ortho or pediatrics, like that. So I suggest, if the students want to pursue more than 1 or 2 core modules, I'd suggest them to go with the abroad studies. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Of course, if you want to try and test more modules and you want to check into research also and the practicing also, then it does make sense. It does make sense.
Yeah.
So, what was your bachelor's degree? If I want to understand, what is the prerequisite one should have a bachelor? What kind of bachelor degree one needs to hold? They need to be only from medical background, any medical background, or they do need to be pursuing some physiotherapy course here in India also, or any other country that they are coming from?
Okay. So if they have the bachelor's degree in physiotherapy itself, which is Bachelor's of Physiotherapy or BSc Physiotherapy from any country, anywhere, they can go with MSc Advanced Physiotherapy. If they didn't have the Bachelor's of Physiotherapy background, they can go with MSc Pre-Registration Physiotherapy, which is for about 2 years. Except physiotherapists, they can go with these kind of things. MSc pre-registration or BSc pre-registration is the only option for the students who is coming from other background except physiotherapy.
Okay. And what options, what career opportunities does these, other courses help?
Yeah. Uh, so you're asking about the career after
If
MSc
someone is
Pre-Reg.
coming from a non-medical background and they are pursuing the MSc pre course that you mentioned, so
Yeah,
what career opportunities they will have post the courses done?
the same as a physiotherapist.
Same.
That's why they are, yeah, that's why they extending the study duration.
So
MSc
the
Advanced
duration is
Physiotherapy,
hmm,
yeah, is for about 1 year, but pre-registration is for about 2 years. They'll learn everything from the basic,
okay.
so
Understood.
they'll get the career same as us.
Understood. So if you have developed the love for health and if you want to help others, it's still not late. You guys can still go for this 2 year course and you can still pursue the dream of you, what
Yeah.
you want. Great. Now, why did you select it Glasgow Caledonian University over any other university in UK? What were the factors that were in your mind while selecting this university?
Yeah, there is a particular website which is a global ranking among UK universities. You can check that website. It will show the pass percentage and the ranking criteria and the particularly for your course of that college. So I checked that for the past year, Glasgow Caledonian University is in the eighth place among the UK universities, but for my course, it stood among second. So I choose with Glasgow Caledonian University, and for the international student, it is very much important about the passing criteria. So it is 93 percentage among the other universities, and it is friendly. There are more and more other country students here when compared to other college.
That's really nice. And I think the website that you mentioned, that's going to help a lot of students. So I'll request you to please repeat the website address or URL again.
Yeah, it is a global ranking website for UK universities.
Okay, thank you so much, Kalaivani, for helping with this thing. Now you have already mentioned why did you selected this university. So every university has a lot of extracurricular activities going on. A lot of clubs are happening over there. So what kind of extracurricular activities and clubs are available at Glasgow Caledonian University? And if you, being a physio into physiotherapy, would you recommend any such niche club for any student who wants to pursue this course to join in future with respect to help them in, with the job aspect?
Yeah, there is a lot of lot of club in Glasgow Caledonian University. Especially if the student want to start the career, I would suggest to go with student ambassador program. And there's a lot of elections based club in the Glasgow Caledonian University. More than that, if you want to go with your curricular activities, there is a yoga, there is a shuttle badminton, and there's a gym. Like those things you can start your career with. One of my friend joined the golf club and he's now working as a manager there, so you can go with that pathway also.
Great. So these kind of clubs and extracurricular activity helps you to develop yourself as a person, what I understand,
Yeah.
right? To make you
Yes.
ready for the world outside.
Yes.
Great, great. Now I know I am taking a lot of time before circling back on that part-time question, but we will definitely circle back on that. But before we do, I really want you to understand what was your expectation before you started your journey as an international student, and how is that, varying right now with the reality? A lot of student has a lot of aspiration and expectation before they fly to the country, and when they land over there, then sometimes the expectation is exceeded, sometimes it's not met as per the reality, and they varies. So how has your experience been so far in this case?
So I would suggest the students can met the reality here. So it doesn't vary that much, because when I come here, I also think about the part-time job, and I have student loans, so I have to repay them, and the career module, everything. So student can meet the reality here. So don't worry about that. And yes, They don't want to worry about this.
So expectation meets the reality. You didn't found
Yes.
any kind of jolt over there that, okay, this is something that I planned, but this is not happening according to the plan.
No, no, nothing like that.
So everything fell into the puzzle at the right corner.
Yeah. Yes. If they are more confident about their accommodation, finance, and their studies, they can go ahead.
Great. So this means that you had done your planning pretty well.
Yes.
Because this experience varies from student to student. Now, because you have done your planning pretty well, I think you would be a right person to advise these students. What advice would you like to share with anybody who is planning to study abroad?
So you first thing, which is a very crisis here, is the accommodation. So plan your accommodation very well. There's a very main thing, and go with the finance. If you want to get the loan, you can go ahead. If you want to get a part-time job, get the CV ready from the country itself, your home country itself. So that is what I did. So I just Google and search about everything that I want to join as a part-time, and I just give my strength to my CV, so that you can, when you came here, you can start applying job the right after when you came here.
Okay.
My
As soon as you
friend,
land, you start applying.
yes, my friend and me, what we did is, yes, she started applying jobs the right after the next day we land here. She got a job as soon as she got her BRP card.
Okay. Okay. So it's there are two kind of ways. You get a part-time job at a cafe at any place, random place, which is not directly correlated to your course study or work. But in your case, you got a part-time job which is related to your course. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong. So how did you landed that kind of job?
Yeah. Um, the one thing I choose as a care assistant is, if the student want to get sponsorship, they can get sponsorship from the care homes very easily. Not very easily, but there is an option than any other part-time jobs. And more than that, you can get as a experience in UK if you go with other jobs like in cafeteria, Domino's and KFC, like that. You won't gain experience, and they won't give the experience certificate for you. If you work in a care home as a care assistant or any other positions, you can get an experience certificate for that. If you want to go with the PSW, or many of the students have the idea to apply PR here, on that time it will help you very much. So that is the main reason you students can go with care home jobs.
So
And
KU's it's an easier pathway to get into the career facilities.
yes, of course, and there is lot of vacancies also.
Okay, okay. That's really nice. And how can they find these jobs? Is there a website that you would like to recommend for them?
Yeah, there is a websites like care home websites. More than that, you can go with Indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed is really popular across the globe. I have seen,
Yes.
apart from
The
India, if we
main
talk
thing
about.
is you have to get ready with your CV.
CV is something which is very important, and you need to
Yeah.
be prepared with your CV when you are in your home country. Ensure that your CV format is as per the format and the guidelines by that destination country where you are going. Like in her case, UK guidelines, because ultimately, otherwise, your CV will not even go to the table.
Yes.
The system will automatically reject it because it doesn't fulfill the criteria. So there is a format, and I think you guys should definitely go and check that out, and yeah, apply on that. Now
Yes.
you may,
As
yeah,
you said, the format is very important.
yeah,
Student, wherever the country they came from, it's not a problem. They should get their CV ready in UK format. That's the important thing.
yeah, yeah. That's very important. That's right. Any for any country, I'll say, if you go for Canada, the format needs to be Canadian. If you go for UK, the format needs to be UK. Now you mentioned about accommodation crisis. Book your
Yeah.
accommodation. So there is a huge accommodation crisis happening across the world right now, and you yourself went through such crisis situation. Please share your story and let me know how. Uh, Now you're there. Did you find apartments better over student accommodation or what?
Yes. To be honest, I didn't face the crisis because of university living, and one of my client, she's facing the crisis now. And in every each and every student accommodation, they are putting the notice board as sold out. Even the students are finding very difficult to find accommodation here. So what I did is I just booked the accommodation through university living, and the staff Gaurav, he helped me a lot. And the one day, I actually, there is a accommodation here, Kyle Park. I wanted to book on Monday. I just gave him to book the accommodation by Monday. But he said, no, there is a crisis. You go with now. Otherwise, it will be gone. He advised me, but I didn't go with him on the first advice. So I just missed the Kyle Park. It is 120 pounds per week. After that, I got 135 per week in Buchanan View. So I go with that. If I
Okay.
miss that also, I won't be find any accommodation in here. So now
Yes.
I shift to the flat over the student accommodation. Me and my friend is sharing here, and the rent is 350 pounds now. If the find, yeah, and before moving to the flat, student should check the tax and bills inclusives, everything.
So you have lived in apartments also, you have lived in student housing also. What difference in amenities you would like to highlight?
Yeah, if you move over the flat, you can't be like in the student accommodation. It is very much different. In student accommodation, you can find many friends, you can socialize, the very main thing for an international student. uh, Moving over the flat, you can't do that. And in student accommodation, you can find the laundry and bills inclusive, and many other things. If the update, it is a place where the updates are more. And in flats, you can't get that. You have to be more involved to get updates.
Right.
And
So
I would
all the
suggest,
maintenance is on your own hand.
yes. So I would suggest students to go with student accommodation. If they feel okay with everything, they can move over the flats.
Yeah, but initially when you land in a foreign country, it's always advisable to go to a place where you can find everything at just one click away.
Yeah.
Does make sense. Does make
And
sense.
more than that, there are more scams here to find a flat. So for
Okay.
an international student, student accommodation is the best place.
Okay. So I think I know we are almost near our time, but by any chance, if you can enlighten us with any such scam that is happening across in UK with respect to apartments.
Yeah, there is a lot of things. Even in the students group, they can see, each and every student group, they can see that they want to pay right now. You
So
have
there's
to
an
pay
advance
200
payment
pounds
against
right
those
now.
flats.
Yes, for booking the student accommodation, or even for the student accommodation, there's no. Um, n- uh, you have to trust the website, which is I would suggest University Living, through what I book my student accommodation. So you have to see the website is trustable or not, and the accommodation in here. What University Living does is I can contact the student accommodation through the mail. So I also confirm that there is a place or not. You can do
Right, it's
that.
very important because you
Yeah.
are traveling across thousand of miles away, and then all of a sudden you realize over there you went over there and you see, okay, this is not what I was promised. This is something else that I got. So that's a very hassle situation, and you're stuck because you are in a foreign country. There is no one as a backup. Over here in your domestic country, you still have family and friends, and to avoid such situation, it is always trustable, suggestible to go advisable to go with a trusted accommodation provider, any service provider, I say, regardless that we go with the university living or not, but always plan, do the research properly so that you don't become that pawn in any kind of such scam. And thank you so much, Kalaivani, for helping us with this
Yeah.
thing. I didn't realize we're almost near our time, but I still have one more question left, and one more advice I'll say, because you have shared a lot of great advices with us today. Is that what is the cost of living in Glasgow? Ultimately, cost of living matters a lot for students. So if you can help us out, because you have been in accommodation also and you are in apartment also. So in
Yeah.
both ways, the cost of living will vary. So what is the cost of living over there?
Yeah, the UK's cost of living is growing a little bit from the past year to this year. They are giving updates, but they are going to amend it by January. So everything is different. I'd suggest if the international student coming here, they have to prepare more. Um, Instead of coming and buying the stuff here, I'd suggest them to buy from the home country itself if the luggage permits. You know,
Right.
so whatever they want, provision things and stationery things, the dresses, the dress are fine. They can buy it from here. It'll be cost around the same as our home country. But if they want to buy the groceries, even the rice, it costs around 15 pounds for 12 kgs. So in rupees, it is 1,500. We For 1,500, we can buy around 25 kg in our home country. So that is very much difference here. Everything will be costly. Um, you can find reasonable price for dress, and the bathing essentials is okay. But for the kitchen essentials, the vessels, everything, I would suggest the students to bought from the home country itself. It will be better.
Great. Okay, does make sense. So, I'll say grocery and staples are a little expensive over there with respect to our food palette, I believe, because their food palette is still cheap.
Um, yeah, but everything is in frozen here.
Right. If
For
you
an
want to eat
international student,
your
yeah,
home cooked food, then you'll have to cook yourself. And then, of course, that's a different cost if you buy the grocery. And it's always buying groceries cheaper than buying, eating food outside in cafes. So as
yes,
Kalaivani mentioned, that you can get 12 kgs in 15 pound, but in 15 pound, you'll be only having one meal over there.
yes. If you want to eat in hotels for the 3 times a day, you'll be charging per day for about 40 to 50 pounds if you want to eat well.
Right, right. If you want to eat well, good food. Makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense. Thank you so much, Kalaivani, for joining us today and helping us so much, the viewers, with so much of advice. But again, before we wrap up, any final 2 cents of advice for any aspirant who's planning to abroad, regardless, like they are coming to UK, Australia, Canada, any place, what advice would you like to give to these students?
Plan before. That is the main thing. So whatever it is, your accommodation, your modules, and your academic profile, your CV, anything it may be, plan before. So it will give you the best way. So if you want to search the part time, you have to plan before that. You have to choose what part time you want to go with, and you have to get ready for that. And for your academic, we can't be like that in our home country. It is completely different here. You have to involve more. It is a self learning programs here. You won't be teach more. You won't get the spoon feeding here. So you
Okay.
have to go to the library and you have to propose everything, and you have to get ready for your modules. So you
Right.
have to be more ready with your basic things also.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So you can achieve whatever you want, whatever you have thought for yourself, but you need to plan in advance, plan well. And you have to be prepared for that learning curves that always is there in your life, when especially you're traveling abroad for as a student. So on this note, we'll be closing our session. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you found it useful. Looking forward to seeing you guys next Friday at 5 p.m. Stay tuned to our social media handles for more information. Thank you so much for Kalaivani for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.